Yeah. You already know. Kappa. Young millionaires. The general. Okay, I wake up every day, I'm feeling good, I'm feeling great. Every day I'm getting paid, man, this life is going great. I just wanna celebrate, I made it in and out of state. $1 million in the case, I got it hidden somewhere safe. I multiply all my millions and really I am extremely wealthy. I distributed my millions with my family. This is just the beginning, I purchased a Lamborghini. Driving around the city, believe me, you haven't seen me. Made it through all the struggle, defeated all of my rivals. I was never entitled, I had to fight for survival. Man, this life is amazing, it's crazy that where we made it. Now I'm living my dreams and I'm burning, just getting started. Through the struggle back when I was very worried. Now I'm chilling, get my condo, Lamborghinis and Bugatti. I know you in a hurry, but I promise don't be worried. When you see me in the club, I probably got enough to party. I'm a multi-millionaire, getting money everywhere. I ain't tripping on nobody, I just came to celebrate. Yeah, we got the party popping, got the general over here, throwing money in the air, cause we get it every day. I multiply all my millions, now me and my people winning. Moving city to city, I promise that you will see me driving a Lamborghini, but this is just the beginning. $1 million Bugatti, I'm stacking money in the ceiling. Multiply all my millions, now me and my people winning. Moving city to city, I promise that you will see me driving a Lamborghini, but this is just the beginning. $1 million Bugatti, I'm stacking money in the ceiling.
The Truth Podcast, live from the grill. We got the General, we got Big John, and Winston's rolling in. He's a few minutes late, and Nikki's out on a funeral. So, what's up, Big John? You killing it, dude?
Just enjoyed the long weekend. Went out to Arizona, saw a bunch of buddies. It was a good time. Now just come back and just get back to the real world for at least for 3 days, and then we head to Los Angeles for 4 days. So my son's June and July is camp season, and we're going all over the place from Los Angeles to Atlanta to Dallas, to Austin, to Fort Collins. So we're definitely hitting some states. So
yeah, I just came out from that area. I was down in Orange. We were down in Orange County, killing it. Got invited to a big Lamborghini event. Shout out to Lamborghini Newport for putting out a spectacular V12 dinner. I mean, just straight 110 class. I call it general status. That was freaking just amazing. And Mastro's, and got the SV with a quick oil change and tore up the coast, and went to Vegas and lit them up back-to-back jackpots. You know how I do it.
Nice.
I was doing the same thing.
Nice.
I got it down to science, I think. No. So interesting.
Now is when Aiden has to hit you up for a sponsorship.
Yeah, that's it. He's gonna hit with the sponsorship. That's it. So I think today what we really want to talk about, big thing that's been on my mind is this weekend, even down from Wednesday, is what I really want to talk about is life speed bumps and how we react to them. And it's basically, are you pumping the brakes? Are you slowing down? Are you stopping? Are you moving gradually? Or just some people just completely see the speed bump and just stalk with the opposition, and how to deal with humans, right? And so I'm going to kind of chronologically go through what I went through all week leading up to the event and coming after. And what I think makes my sauce different is that whole I just don't give up. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
And I just get shit done. You know what I mean? No matter what it is. And so one of the greatest thing was, so it all started off. Funny thing is, I call out to Lamborghini Newport. I'm like, hey, I need this car service. When can we get this done? I don't hear back. And then I hit the guy up and said, hey, look, I'm coming up for the Lamborghini event. Can we do this? And his response is, oh, I think, I don't know if we're going to be able to get in that time. Everything's filled up. And so I'm sitting there like, dude, I'm from out of state, But the thing about me is I kind of hit you with the quiet stance, right? Yeah. I don't accept it. I'll never be like, oh, okay, whatever. I just kind of I give you time to think. And in my mind, I'm processing that. What am I going to hit you with? Am I going to hit you soft? Am I going to hit you with a jab, or am I going to hit you with a straight fucking knockout? It all depends. I give you an opportunity to kind of retract. I call it the stupidity, right? And so we go through that. No big deal. And so I get there, and he's like, oh, no, changes in tune. Got to get here by 4 o'clock, and if you don't get here by 4 o'clock, no deal. Well, shit. Something in my heart was like, let's leave out on Wednesday. Leave it on Wednesday. We're driving out, and holy shit, we get to Flagstaff. Life's good. We rent our room, stay there, get up the next day early. We're about 60 miles out of Flagstaff. Tire blows. I'm like, fuck. All right, don't panic. Go into the trailer, get the jack out. I have a 2.5 ton jack. Obviously, there's more weight than 2.5 tons. I start to jack the trailer, it starts to give. In that moment, you can panic, and I'm thinking, what am I going to do? So I think, I go in through my memory bank and says, what have I gone through the past that's similar? So I'm like, let's take the trailer off the truck, and let's use the jack from the front of the trailer to alleviate the weight, and then I'll put the jack in. That'll give me the right, creating that option. My third option in my head was, you know what? I got some pieces of wood that I always carry. The north, we always carry wood in our truck. I'll drive the back tire over, even though I'm backing uphill. That will lift off one of the tires enough to get the tire out. So you always got to have these options, and you just don't just give up. Like, oh shit, light's over, right? And I know that I'm fighting the clock. So I'm like, crap, right? The other thing is just really working, like, what's the end goal of the mission? So slap it on, 26 minutes, we're back on the road. We're fucking killing it. 65 miles out, the spare blows. Wow. Now I'm like, oh shit. Right? And so I tell Brianna, get on the phone, start finding these places, all this stuff. And we find these tire places, and we go into a Barstow. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Barstow, California, but it's a pretty shady place, man. You're rolling in. I hate to say it, but it just kind of freaks you out. So rolling in, we get to this one shop. Guy's freaking awesome. And one thing that I learned from my last trailer is that when you get these trailers, they put standard D-rated truck tires, what they worth of shit. You need a 12-ply trailer tire specifically for that. And ply means the thickness of the rubber that you have in that tire. So I'm like, do you got 12-ply tires? He's like, no, I got this. I said, well, replace that tire. We look in the back. The tire that was supporting the weight now starts to separate. And you see where the rubber separates. So I'm like, fuck. All right, we'll put 2 tires. I'm going against the clock. Lay the hammer down. Nothing goes on. Trailer's a little squiggly. We get there, and I roll up, and I'm delivering the car. We get it off. Everything's good. He gets it in service. So I'm like, where am I going to park this trailer? So I go to the individual in service, and I'm like, hey, where can I park this trailer at? And he's like, oh, you need to talk to Sebastian, the sales manager. This has never happened to me before, right? Yeah. So I'm going with the punches. I'm like, all right. But before that, I said, let's go across the street and talk to the guys that are the tire shop and see they have tires. Freaking amazing guys. They got tires. I said, look, I need to get these tires straight. He's like, can you bring it in the morning? And I'm like, dude, I can't haul this trailer around. I'm not going to get here by the morning. So I kind of stay silent, and I don't give people an option. But what I'm doing is I'm psychologically working with them, and the reason I go silent and I kind of just look at you is to give you, because I know there's something else you can do. So he goes and says, well, I'm going to go talk to my boss. The boss says, yeah, go ahead and leave the trailer. I'll move some cars. I get off the trailer. It's a tight spot. People don't think. Get the fucker off. Done deal. Go to our hotel. He gets the tires on, right? But look at how I'm dealing with these speed bumps, right? You think about most people lose their shit and they're uncool, and now they've let anger cloud their mind, and you really can't make a good negotiation if you're telling somebody off, right? I leave that to way last because, you know, in all the studies that I did personally, when I studied, you know, in the martial arts and with the monks, is that when you're angry, you're in a drunken state. So it's like just being shit-faced. You're not thinking straight. You're in a drunken state. So I never react. I'm kind of there just dealing with stuff, looking at it. And how many people just react immediately, right?
Mm-hmm.
So no matter how shit goes on, it's okay. I'll get to the hotel. And no problem. Just get up in the morning, get the trailer. I go get the event. I roll up to the guy and says, hey, where can I park this trailer? He's like, back to the
No problem.
Back to the sales manager again, right? And so now I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. There's a big spot here. You haven't even walked the lot. How can you not figure this out? So he just gets up and is like, you need to talk to Sam, like in a shitty ass way, right? And I'm like, all right, well, fuck. I go outside. I said, I need to come up with a second plan. Let me call the tire shop guys and ask them if maybe I can park in their lot, and I'll just pay them. I'll pay them cash. The hotel had an option too, but I was like, fuck, I'm gonna end up paying about $150 a night. Let me see what else I can work. But they're still my third option. I'm working with the options, right? So then Sebastian, phenomenal guy, been my bud. He's been in the game since I first got into Lamborghini, which I've been in the brand for over 12 years now, right? So he walks out and we walk out to the back. We figure something out. There's a spot in the corner. We talk to the detail guys. The guys are on the floor and says, hey, wherever I park this at, where do you think it is? But this is what's crazy. No one knows my ability. And they're making assumptions that, well, he can only probably park the truck and he's going to leave it attached and fucking it's going to be a clusterfuck. Dude, I get this thing parallel, right with the concrete, take the trailer off, 3 minutes, jump in my truck and gone. And it didn't take up any room. So I was courteous of not taking advantage, but I literally did what I knew what my ability was. But in that whole thing, if I would have lost my shit and how I was dealing with this, I wouldn't have gone where I needed to go. You know what I'm trying to say, John?
I do. I mean, but those are things that you say, like from a father perspective, you try to teach your child to it's conflict management. You know, how do you deal with scenarios when things don't go your way? You know, do you belittle people and treat them like shit? Well, then most likely they're going to push back too. Or do you speak to them and talk to them in a relatable manner? Well, then that can change things. You know, and it sounds like that's how you handle the situation. And it's good that you developed some of these relationships before. But by the same token, to me, it's again, it goes back to how do you treat people?
It's exactly right.
You know,
but
if you treat your waiter like shit, you better get used to eating spit.
Yep.
You know,
and I thought about you when you said that, but imagine this: the guy's not too customer friendly, and so he's giving me all the opposition, but I'm not mirroring him. Mm-hmm. And that's what I want people to get in today's podcast. Do you ever mirror stupidity? Yeah. If someone's throwing you stupidity, do you mirror with stupidity? You know, the basis of martial arts, if someone comes at you aggressively, your most powerful tool is your tongue. And how am I going to disarm this individual by talking to him? So it's like, if he's like, for example, like, what the fuck, asshole? And you're like, hey, how's your day going? That's not the response you're expecting, right? Yeah. You know, and I have to practice this because my response is, you get negative at me. I mean, I've worked years not to come at you 110% hard, even 20% harder than you came at me, right? But what I've learned is it really doesn't get you anywhere. It just gets you all overwhelmed, all pissed off. You're eating the spit sandwich, and you're probably not going to get anything. So I approach the things with the conflict management. I love what you said, the conflict management. Mm-hmm. So I get everything in there, and everything's good right now. So then event's fucking phenomenal. You know, I say, you know what? Let's go ahead and get to Vegas instead of driving all the way. So I have a VIP host. And there's an app that they want you to use now because you have access to all the hotels, right? So he's like, it's easier for you to get on the app and do this. And so what I did is I rented a hotel for 2 nights regardless of what the situation is, I rent the hotel and I set it up. So we partied too hard on that night for the Lamborghini dinner. And I was like, you know what? There's no way in hell I'm going to take a risk and get out there in a trailer. So we'll go out in the morning. Now, this is the crazy shit. So I said, something tells me, check the reservation. So I get up and check the reservation, and it doesn't show as a reservation. It says reservation expired. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? So now I'm calling VIP services, and Vegas is back up to par. But the VIP services has me for about 31 minutes on the phone waiting for life. But I don't lose my shit. I'm eating breakfast. You know, I'm drinking coffee, phone's on fucking speaker. I'm listening to this whole shit. And so a lady gets on the line. And I said, ma'am, I said, you know what? I said, I got on my app, on the VIP app. I did a room for 2 days. You say, show's canceled. I'm about to get to Las Vegas. What's going on? She says, let me check, sir. So she gets on and she says, oh, your reservation was canceled for a no-show. And I said, what do you mean a no-show? Well, you didn't check in time. I said, that shouldn't matter. If I paid for the room for 2 days, whether I'm there or not, that room better be ready. Regardless, it's not about a check-in. There's no fucking rules on checking in. You got my credit card on file. Bill me for the 2 rooms. If I decide to get there at fucking 3 o'clock or the next day early in the morning, it's my prerogative. So she calls in and but I'm very high tier level VIP in Las Vegas. And so she must have got her ass chewed. She's like, this is funny. So again, she gets me on the phone. She's like, well, sir, why didn't you check in? And I said, in my mind, I'd be like, what the fuck do I kill? I said, I said, we partied too hard. I didn't get in time. But ultimately, I don't know what's wrong with your system because I rent the room for 2 days. And so he's like, well, I talked to VIP service and, you're comped, obviously. And when you're comped, you don't have to pay. So she's going through this big old story. And I'm like, okay. But you know what? We're putting this in your record. This is the last time we're ever going to do this for you not checking it. So I'm laughing my ass off, right? And I'm thinking, well, is this the last time I'm going to drop fucking $4,000 you take from me too? Because you guys didn't complain about that. But this is all going in my head, right? But I'm not laying down the hammer. I let her go with her, get the red star story like when you're a fucking kid. And I just laughed my ass off. So no big deal. Driving into Vegas. Now, again, I'm a very conflict management. So I'm calling these places. It's the worst parking. So they moved me from Mandalay Bay to Park MGM. And I've been to Park MGM. Used to be I forgot the name of that hotel. But ironically, it's the first place I've been to ever. So I'm calling everyone. They're like, there's no oversized parking. Park at Excalibur. I call, oh, no. I finally get this lady, and she's cool. And she says, just go to New York. The parking's high. Go to the garage, and you make the decision if you can park or not. Well, I already know 2 things, right? One, I know that I can park at the Mirage, oversized parking, or Stratosphere, worst scenario. But I don't want to fucking get a cab or how am I going to get all this luggage over? Mm-hmm. But I'm doing all this in my head, right? The math calculation. We get to the garage, and here comes fucking Ren and Stimpy. And this is the example of fucking what happened to me at Lamborghini. You got the big guy and the short guy, and I'm like, what the fuck is this trio? And you got the short guy just all fucking shaking his head. And he goes and he says, you can't park this under here. And I said, why not? He says, there's no parking. I'm like, you fucking kidding me? He says, you can't make that turn around that turn. Well, Ren and Stimpy in my mind, I'm like, how many fucking traders have this guy's ever driven in their life? Right?
Yeah.
So I get off the truck and he's like, you walk the side and tell me how you're going to get out of here. So I find this perfect spot. And I said, well, I can fit right there. He's like, well, I don't think you can park in there. I said, watch me. Dude, it was like fucking magic. One shot. Woo, perfect. Unlatch the trailer. I'm off the fuck out of there later. But the opposition, you see, if he's confronting me aggressively, like, no one can park there. And then the first time that I left one part, I'm like, what can I park with? He's like, that's T-Mobile's VIP. You can't park there. That's where the shows are set up. We obviously know there's no fucking shows going on in Vegas right now. Mm-hmm. He's just completely being an ass, right? But when I discovered my own destiny, I said, I'm going to park there. Done deal. What I was getting at here, the whole fucking time I'm going, opposition. Now let's go to check-in, okay? Check-in in the hotel. I'm thinking I got all these bags. I go straight to VIP. I said, hey, I need this. Can you give me this, that, and the other? two guys pop up, the door guy and the reservations guy for parking. And I look at these guys, they're cool dudes, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna hit him with what I always do. I tip big. So I go in, I give the guy carrying my bags $20. I give the parking dude $20. All of a sudden, he takes, he's like, we can't give you the car. It's against the rules now to give you the car, take it to your room. But let me call someone else. So they call someone else. I give him $20. What does it fucking matter? $60, right? But these guys create a circle and they have a radio. So when I'm walking out to the truck, he stops me and says, hey, fuck the parking garage. I want you to park up front. He's saying, Willie, where's this? And the guy's like, hey, he doesn't let up. The guy's like, give me a parking slip. So I get the parking slip, right? He writes it all down. I get everything situated. I got a quick meeting that I got to go to. I got to drop off some paperwork and then come back. So I get to the parking and I hand the guy the slip. He says, we're not accepting those anymore. And I'm sitting there like, dude. And I said, are you fucking with me? Or are you crazy? It's written today, dude. Your boss signed it. VIP service sign. What do you mean you're not going to take it? And so like, he's giving me the opposition and I'm just holding strong. But I don't hold strong on stupidity. I have concrete. I got the slip. I know it's legit. I know it's signed. So now I'm going to hold the line. He's like, oh, well, valet's all coming back tomorrow and they want every car out of here. I said, don't matter to me. VIP signed this shit. I'm parking it back of the truck. Oh, my bad. But I wasn't a dick with him. So I was like, you know what? It's cool. And I almost contemplated him and give him a tip, but I thought, why would I tip bad behavior? Then I'm just setting the whole one gets a trophy bullshit, right? But this is exactly what I'm talking about. How in life are we approaching when there's opposition coming, not just one, but multiple oppositions, and it's not throwing me off my kilter. You're not fucking on my day. I'm still happy. And you know what I'm trying to tell you?
It goes back to the three words of the topic is life speed bumps. You know, we all face little speed bumps. Now, how do you handle those situations? Do you make them worse and create a bigger speed bump? Because people do that all the time. They can't get out of their own way. You know, they make the problem even worse. You know, so and again, those are, you know, I mean, we evolve as people to where, you know, theoretically we learn from failures and we learn from things that didn't work before. You beat your head up against the wall. Well, make sure. Well, next time I'm not going to hit the wall with my head, you know, hopefully. But there are people out there that don't have coping skills or don't evolve emotionally, and they struggle with these issues of speed bumps, and they're constantly, their lives in turmoil because they can't overcome these things, you know.
And they just crumble, right?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
Hey, we got the Winston in the house back here, baby.
Yeah, I was a little late today, but I made it.
And I mean, you've probably, your biggest thing right now is that you've been working on that house, renovating yourself. I'm sure you've come over obstacles. Now, how do you handle those situations?
Yeah, for sure. It's one of those things you pull stuff out and you find things that, you know, alter your original plan. We can map so much things out, and once you pull some sheetrock off or bust up some concrete and look at what's under the surface and things weren't the way you were hoping they were, then you kind of have to go back to the drawing board. But this is a cool topic. I don't know. I've been getting into F1 racing a lot lately, and the Monaco Grand Prix was last week, and pretty much the champ of all champs in that realm took 7th, Lewis Hamilton. Yeah. And that was one thing too, and that's one thing that couldn't destroy him. I mean, he's been winning almost every race for the whole year. He's got like 100 podium wins, and he takes 7th. And he said, you know, what we have to do is address the issue. And what the issue is the tires on the Mercedes F1. They're very long vehicles, so the tires tend to take a lot of more wear and tear. So now he's like, we need to schedule an engineer meeting. We need to figure out what we're going to do with the tires and blah, blah, blah. Instead of him saying, oh, you know, this is the worst situation ever and blah, 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 whatever, you know, just dwelling on everything. He's like, okay, there's a problem. We need to have this problem fixed. And that's one kind of thing that, you know, has helped me go through all these obstacles is I had a family friend that was helping us at the house, and she was laughing. She's like, anytime they say something's wrong with the house, Carson just laughs it off. And it's like, you know, we'll figure it out. And it's true. It's just kind of the way I've been wired lately is, you know, you can make everything so much worse than what it really is, or you can just address the problem and solve it, and that's what a lot of people tend to lack. And yeah, there's pretty drastic things that happen in people's lives, but it's really how you take those issues at hand and how you adjust to it. I mean, I could easily say, you know what, I'm never doing this again because it was a little bumpy, you know what I mean? And then who knows what happens from there. Or I could say, you know what, I want to go through all the bumps right away so I get so much more knowledge on how to address each situation to set me up in the future. So when I come into contact or whatever with whatever the case it may be, I'm well prepared for it,
Yeah. It's being battle tested, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly.
And have you guys watched Band of Brothers?
I haven't even heard of that.
Series? Well, anyway, after Saving Private Ryan, Tom Hanks and Spielberg got together and they did 2 10-part series. The first one was called Band of Brothers and the second one was called The Pacific, and both of them based on true stories. And Band of Brothers, and I know it's so much better than The Pacific because I used to teach it and show it every single year in my world history class. And I love that they focus on different aspects of leadership in that series. And in each series, each episode is only an hour long, but they focus on leadership. And what you guys were just describing, there's one part where this in the story is all told about Easy Company, and at some point Easy Company, their best leader gets promoted up to like the battalion level, and the next person that comes up in line is hugely ineffective, and that battalion commander is the platoon leader that is about to put Easy Company in a bad situation. And that battalion commander who used to be in charge of Easy wants to go down there so badly and take over. And his boss is like, that's not your job anymore. Your job is of all the companies. You're in charge of all the companies. So, but without skipping a beat, without turning and arguing with his boss, he finds a captain to go and replace that other guy. And so he figures, okay, this is what I'm in charge of. This is what how I'm gonna fix it, rather than turning and wasting time and fighting upstream. I'm gonna fix and solve the problem. Mm-hmm. I know I can't go do it firsthand, but I'm gonna have that guy replaced with somebody else. Yeah. And to me, it's like that perfect scenario of how do you deal with these speed bumps? How do you deal with this conflict? And how do you manage things and you stay cool under pressure, under fire?
I always tell people I like to treat life like boxing, right? You weather the storm, you figure out what it is, and all you're doing is bobbing and weaving, and all you're doing is just you're feathering those punches, right? That's all you want to do is parry all those punches that are being thrown at you. Then it doesn't really matter. But what it was crazy is that most people allow themselves to get up to, I call the 6th floor, right? 7th floor, you're jumping, and just one thing over the another. Or imagine if I let all that shit get to me, and then my trip's all fucked up, and I'm like, oh my God, whatever. But I don't allow it. It just doesn't allow it. Because you know what the standard that you're going to set for yourself, and you know how much pressure. I mean, we used to laugh. Mike used to hang with us, and he'd say, pressure breaks pipes. Pressure breaks pipes, and it's true. Pressure breaks pipes. You want to be a big enough pipe, no matter what pressure goes through, the water just flows through, right?
But I like to say pressure makes diamonds.
True.
Yeah. You can't have a diamond without pressure.
True. But I think that when you look at like anything that's in front of you, right? Like Carson with the house, I'm sure you would just everyday life. I'm thinking about this, how tested you guys were with Aiden in the sense of, okay, I'm at the top here, COVID hit, I can't hit this cam, so they're not going to see. You have to innovate yourself.
Or he snaps his collarbone.
Yeah,
that was a big one.
Oh yeah, no. And now where you're like, you're not gonna be able to do anything June, July. So what do? We paid for PT twice a week. His trainer worked with him twice a week. Yeah, somebody volunteered to do massage therapy for him. Tina Herrera. Mm-hmm. She does massage therapy for him. So we aggressively attack it. And literally at the first PT meeting, the doctor's like, I can't believe you have this much range of motion. Yeah. She goes, you're so ahead of schedule. What can we do? Do we sit there and feel sorry for ourselves about the speed bump that we're given? Or do we say, okay, how can we attack this from a different angle? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was such it was the mental battle too.
Oh, for sure.
You talk about him being dismayed and bothered and stuff like that, or what can we do? We that's what we always say all the time. We handle what we can handle, we take care of the business that we can take care of, So that was a speed bump that we thought was going to derail us until July. And now Thursday, he's probably going to get cleared and we're leaving Friday for Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So
that'll be great.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things too, like I was saying in that, it's actually a Netflix series. You guys should watch it. It's on Formula One. And there was a race where Lewis Hamilton, he did like a practice start on the track. And they were like, you can't really do that. So they give him a penalty of 10 seconds in the pit. So he's in first. Then he stops for tires. They give him 10 seconds. He goes all the way to last place. And he was pretty pissed. He's like, I don't know why they did that, but I'm so mad. I'm going to try to win this race still. Sure enough, he finishes third and gets a podium win. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things too where he could have let that little thing throw him off completely and been so mad and frustrated that it would have thrown him off his drive. But then he still finishes third when he was all the way last halfway through the race. It was pretty cool.
At that point, you're not making that speed bump, what I call the little molehill, a mountain, right? Because you're like staying focused on why am I here to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just kind of get to the opposition. What do you think's been the worst thing you've been dealt with that got thrown at you with the house? Would you say?
Probably the roof situation. I mean, it was a pretty major issue. It wasn't structurally sound, and we had to fix it. And it was like a never-ending issue because, when we're getting everything prepped for sheetrock now, and we're measuring everything, and we still found out that the roof was still about an inch down. And with the smooth finish sheetrock, I mean, you need that thing spot on level. So we had to revisit the issue. It didn't really bother me any. I mean, the work has to get done, and that's kind of how my mindset has been on it. But finally, we had to take out that old header that was in there and scab all the joists together. So it's been an ongoing issue. That was probably the toughest thing to do. It was the hardest too, and it was kind of the most stressful because it's the roof. And we kind of need that on a house, but it was one of those things. I mean, it was funny when we were shooting it with I forget what they call it. They like shoot them with the transit. Mm-hmm. We're shooting everything with the transit, and that's how we found out that we were still an inch low because we were like, that thing looks bowed still. So we got a transit. We started shooting it, and sure enough, it was an inch down. So we were like, okay, we got to cut that old header out of there that was sagging the roof originally, and then pulled that out, lifted it back up an inch, scabbed everything in, and now it's good. But that was the biggest thing. But it was one of those things. Like I said, a family member they've been helping us, and his wife was there, and she laughed. She's like, oh, yeah, you say the ceiling's still an inch down, and Carson just kind of laughs it off and says, well, we got more work to do, and get it done.
Keep your head in the trench.
Yeah, and that was the most stressful and hardest thing of it, but there was nothing in my control, you know what I mean? And it's one of those things, like my uncle tells me, I'm like, I hate digging trenches. That's what I discovered on this remodel deal we're doing. And he's like, I don't care. I'll dig the trench. I've done this for years when I was a kid. And he's like, I don't like it either, but the work has to get done. And that's the mindset, just being around him and him saying all that stuff. That's how I react now. I'm just like, okay, cool. Well, I think we need to figure out what we need to do and then just execute the job. That's it.
Yeah, fucking trenching ain't worth that shit, but you got to get it done.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. Man. And that's just part of life, man. If you want to, there's so much people that, I want to be successful, or I want to have a car like this, or have a house like this, or whatever the case may be. I mean, even John, if he wants his kids to go to Division I, I mean, they have to, there's a payment that has to be paid, you know what I mean? And that's hard work. And it's going to come with a lot of trials and tribulations and things like that. And what makes people successful are the ones who tackle those objects. You
pay now, you pay later.
Exactly. The tabs always do, whether you're doing good or bad.
Yep.
It's one of those things.
Yeah, and I kind of, because I heard Ray Lewis, and he was a linebacker for the Ravens, and he, you hear some of his speeches that he tries to get his players pumped up with, and I cut together parts of it, and I thought, and I said this earlier, pressure makes a diamond, not hugs. I go, you have to teach your children to be resilient, how to cope with failure, and how to exhibit self-control. So like all the pieces that we're talking, like you talked about all the things that really could have fucked up your weekend, literally, and because you had self-control and because you talk to people and you negotiate it, you probably got the results.
Oh, it's
that you
one of
wanted.
the best weekends ever.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is
Yeah.
you got, but you had all these obstacles that were in front of you that could have literally derailed you. You probably wouldn't have made it there on time. You know, all those things
All
could
that.
have fucked up your weekend. But again, self-control helps you fix those things.
Yeah, and you made the decision to make it a good trip too. You know what I mean? It's one of those things.
And it's like I said, like you were making the decision, but it's like when the speed bump hits you, you got to be able to say, you know what, it is what it is, right? I mean, you saw when you helped me look the car roll. Yeah, you might have missed this early on. I don't know if you were listening, but we got to Arizona. We stayed the night. Got up in the morning. 60 miles. No, I was about 60 miles out. I get a blowout
On the trailer or the
on
truck?
the trailer.
No way. I thought you
Yeah.
just put tires
I
on
did.
there. Dang.
Blows that fucker out, right? And then we
Yeah, I
replaced
missed
it with a spare. 45, 60 miles out,
Popped it.
the spare blows
Yeah.
again. And then now I'm in Barstow in the hood. You know what I mean?
At what point did you say, "Fuck it, I'm leaving the trailer. I'm gonna drive the Lambo into Kelly"?
There was a thought process.
There probably was a
No,
demarcation line that
That-
said, "If I can't get it fixed up soon enough, I'm gonna drive a buck
because
20."
because ultimately I had to get the car there, right?
Yeah,
Ultimately I thought, you know what? Yes, so that was an option.
that was
So all the
option
options
D.
I laid, I was like, fuck it. I'm laying it down.
Drop the hammer.
I'll drop the hammer and I will get there by
Yeah.
4
That
o'clock.
would have been cool.
So either way,
I'm sure because when you were saying all that, I'm like, at some point, I'm sure he probably said, "Fuck it, I'm taking it off the trailer and drop the hammer."
and dropping the hammer and I'll be there.
Yeah.
But again, there's all those options, right?
Yeah.
What am I gonna do? The only fucked up part, John, is it was weird. Is I had before I left, there was 2 things, and I said, "Fuck, I should fill this car with gas." And then second, I'm like, I should check that spare, and I didn't fill the car with gas, and I didn't check the spare. Spare was full, but still, that thing is old. It's crazy. That kind of weight, tires better be ready,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It just didn't hold. Sucker didn't
For
hold.
sure.
And when those suckers blow, it's game over, man. It sounds crazy.
Oh, I believe that. That's a lot of weight on that trailer, man.
I've lost a lot of tires going to Cali. Cali's like, I call it the fucking omen. I've had everything. We've blown a turbo going on the fucking
Yeah.
a Little Red.
That one's.
I blew the fucking front tire on the black truck and almost ripped the door off.
Uh-huh.
Oh, went up to the well and stuff like that.
Fucking went up though. It was a disaster on that. And then the thing. So it was weird. I said, what the hell was? In the beginning times, no issues. Last 3 times to Cali have been brutal. It's just but that road at Flagstaff, 10 miles in and 20 miles out is the most fucked up road I've ever seen.
Yeah,
It
it's pretty
just-
messed up.
Beats the
Tears
shit
up
out of
everything.
Just
Yeah,
tearing
it
up.
does.
It's just horrible.
It's a disaster.
Then when I was coming, man, the storm. Even when I was coming last night, I was like, maybe I should stay somewhere in Gallup, but it was just looked too bad. I was like, no, fuck that. Mind power. I'm gonna come home. That wind was brutal. It got to the point where a windstorm blew in front of me, where I couldn't even have visibility for a split
Dang.
second. And you know, Winston, once the wind hits the trailer, it gets squirrely, dude.
Yeah, it does.
The squirrely action.
But yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, so much stuff can happen to you, and it's just how you react to it. It's the bottom line. You can make the decision to make your next day great or terrible. You know?
Or you know, it's crazy as shit. Talk about like in this last month, death has really visited my family. My cousin just got killed going down from Los Alamos. Girls texting and hits him head on.
Oh, forget it.
You don't got a choice. One of the nicest guys in the world, right?
Yeah.
And you think about that, you're like, holy crap! Like you don't got a choice. And that guy's he was always a positive guy, right? Always positive thoughts, doing his thing. You know, that's what's scary. Is how am I going to mitigate the risk, or even what you do?
Oh,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
It was like that story I was telling you. I almost got plowed at a stoplight
Yeah.
from highway pursuit that was getting off on Coors. And it was like, how do you avoid that? You know what I mean? I'm just sitting at the light. I'm obeying the law.
Oh yeah, no.
And I could have died. You know what I mean?
Sometimes it's just like some things aren't in your hands.
It's one of those things, you know. I always say the saying, and I think I say it a lot on this podcast too, is, you know, all we can do is water our plants and do our due diligence. We can't control if locusts come to our garden and tear it up, or, you know, all we can do is all we can do at the end of the day. If you know you're doing things right, if you know you're mitigating your risk for whatever it is that you're taking a risk in, then that's all we can really do on our own part.
Well, you know what's crazy? Like even now when the trailer fucking does that tire, I like go all the way to the right on the dirt. A lot of people have a false sense of security, like that the guy fucking driving is not going to hit you.
Mm-hmm.
That's my worst nightmare, dude.
Yeah.
You're on the fucking cheating tire and you get taken out by some fucker.
Mm-hmm.
How do you react that fast to get the fuck under? I'm in there thinking to myself, how would I slide under this trailer fast as fuck if I had to? No way in hell, there's not enough room.
2 weeks ago, I was driving home on Paseo, and I see this woman pulled over on the side of the road, and she has a flat tire, and all these cars are just whipping by her. And I'm like, damn, okay. And by the time I saw her, it was already too late for me to pull over. So I drove all the way to Coors, came all the way back to 2nd Street, and then went to her. And I changed her tire for her. But I'm like, you're like, there's cars whipping right by you right there. And she's only like 2 feet off the dirt. And I'm like, I thought that same exact thing. I'm like, okay, I'm doing a good thing here. Do not let somebody fucking clip me out for, all the fucked up karma things I've done in my life. Don't take it from me.
The bill's gonna come to you, John.
Yeah,
Not the bill, John.
But I hope that's good karma that I get.
Yeah.
I said now's not the time. Hit me when I'm doing something.
That's
shady.
the thing. We're really ultimately out of control. I mean, I don't know what the listeners' beliefs are, but I'm a Christian, and I just know that God has his time already set for us. That's what I believe.
Well, I got something to add to that, right? I believe we have our expiration date, but I also believe that we can. So think about this, right? It's kind of like your mortgage. It can be done in 30 years, but I believe you could be stupid enough to fucking actually bring your death earlier than the mortgage.
Oh yeah,
date.
absolutely.
So
but that's why I said, if you're taking the right precautions, I mean, you're doing all you can do. You don't go and accelerate it and say, I'm going to drive 150 on the road every day and run red lights. I mean, it's probably going to.
But you hear people say that, right? Like, oh, yeah, my expedition's there, God. No, that's fucking bullshit. He would give us free will then, and then we just be robots going down a fucking path. Kind of like your batteries, right? Your batteries are meant to last so long based on how much you used to use. It just be a battery. And what it is a lot of people's mentality. It's like if you sit back and you drink alcohol every fucking day, your liver's going to fail.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Guaranteed. It's going to guaranteed. And there is that one guy, that 1%, that drank all his life and then has zero liver issue. And then you're going to get that one person that never did anything and they got liver cancer. You know what I'm trying to say? But the norm and the average is about if you make good choices, you're going to have good results.
Unless you're sitting at the red light and get plowed by a car.
The red light.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's completely out of our control.
So ultimately is this: stay off of Coors, dude. Coors is a dangerous street.
It is. I guess I'm not gonna get off the freeway onto Coors anymore. That was crazy. I went into shock and everything. I was freaked out because the dude literally like clipped my mirror on the side, and he was probably going like over 100 easily.
Oh, and they were in a pursuit chasing him?
Yeah, off the freeway. Shit. And that's how it was crazy because I think it was a week or 2 weeks before, there was a lady that had died from that same exact situation where pursuit was coming off, 40?
Yep.
Where they're coming off 40 to Coors, and they were sitting at a light and boom, slammed them. It's crazy.
Can you imagine that shit? You're just sitting there, I heard about that. About those ladies.
Same
I thought it was 2 ladies.
It was 2 ladies, yeah.
Yeah,
it was
2 ladies. And they both get killed.
Yeah, and that's why I was so freaked out because I was like, there was just 2 people this happened to the week before, and I was like that close to being a headline too.
You go back to an ideological argument there on police officers. At what point are you endangering more people by creating that high-speed pursuit? Then is it worth catching that guy?
Well, and the sad thing is, I don't even think they caught the guy because he was so far ahead of him.
Yeah, but I mean, they're going to probably catch him at some point.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? So if it's somebody with a warrant, catch his ass sleeping or at his fucking work or, somewhere where he's freaking butt-ass naked or something like that. You know what? But that's becomes the ideological struggle that I think police are faced with. Is it worth traveling triple digits when you're going to end up killing somebody when what are you taking this guy to jail for?
Yeah.
What you're going to end up taking him to jail for is murder, but then now you lose the lives that you just wiped out.
And I think there's some kind of, I don't remember, but I think there's an actual provision that if it's not a felony chase, like an aggravated felony chase, a police officer can't chase somebody over 80 miles an hour.
I hope so.
No,
Because,
I'm pretty positive. We should look that up.
yeah, but I mean, but that becomes this. What is it worth? You know,
Yeah.
you know.
Then it becomes a gray area.
Even some of these scenarios where police officers are pulling out their firearms over, you know, something, you know, just recently where that cop shot that girl 4 times in the chest because she had a knife and she was going at somebody. You know what I'm saying? So okay, maybe she, you know,
She was going at who, John?
it was
someone else. It
yeah,
was
these
at
girls-
a
it
party
was
and these girls were fighting.
Girls were fighting. The girl had a knife. The cop rolled up on the scene and rather than taser or whatever, he just put 4 bullets into her and she had a knife in her head. You know, she was coming after a girl and she was intending to harm her. But again, man, it's
tough because
it's a tough
we could
price.
be
Oh, yeah,
on
I
the
mean,
other
you can
side.
look
I
at-
could
you
say,
can
I'm gonna give you
well,
the
then
general's,
what
I'm gonna
if
give you the
she would've
general's opinion on
killed-
that fucker.
What if she would have killed the other girl?
And-
You know,
and
what I
I
mean?
completely
It's
agree
so
with-
hard, and I
completely
get
agree
both
with you.
sides.
Yeah,
but it's
but
just one of those
Can you
things.
find
It's
a,
like
can you find a middle ground?
exactly.
Well, I'm gonna give you the general's opinion on that one, okay? So I'm not gonna leave no room on the Truth Podcast for that one. You got a knife in your hand, you're going, I'm gonna shoot your fucking ass.
Yeah.
Period. You're gonna get shot. There's not gonna. I'm there because at the end of the day, you are making a conscious decision to go aggressively with a knife. You're gonna get a bullet in your ass. Do you need 4? I don't know. 1, I think it depends how good of a shot you are. But ultimately, like in that one, you got to get your ass kicked. Period. Right? You know, it's a whole analogy. You pick up your fist at me, you better be able to
Yeah.
defend yourself because it's going to be dangerous. Right? I might not
Yeah.
give you the soft touch. Then that's a dangerous part. So I think that one warranted getting your ass shot.
4 times?
Or maybe
I'm
2.
just laughing because it's a borderline topic.
Yeah, it's not a borderline.
It is.
It
No,
is.
I
It's a
mean,
big
I mean,
controversy in the world right now.
Oh, no, well,
Even with the controversy.
yeah, but there are ones that are not clear cut. The guy's running away from you. You put 7 bullets in his
No,
back.
no, that's a
Yeah.
different story.
You see what I'm
That's
saying?
a fucking bullshit one.
Or the guy tells you, "I have a concealed weapon," and you fucking shoot him. You know, because
No.
Yeah, that's different.
look at Philando Castile. He's like, "I have a." So he reaches like a dumbass, and this is where he makes a mistake. He goes to get in his wallet to give him the permit, and the guy shoots him.
I would never give the fucking permit.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about
I would-
shit?
I would probably get out of the car and
you
say-
want to know how fucked
Well,
up our
that's the
society.
unfortunate thing is we would realistically say here we don't want to provide you proof, but we should be able to say, okay, you want a proof? Here it is. Reach in your pocket and pull it out,
You're
and
right.
not have to be like, well, let me get out of my car and
No.
you reach in my
So
pocket and
there-
grab, you know what I
there's
mean?
A new automobile, and I have to look. I forget what brand, what make or model it was, but they're literally putting window controls on the steering wheel now. That's a sign of the times.
What do the window controls do?
So
roll-
that you don't
roll
take
the
your
window
hand-
down
to
so the
roll the
cops
window down because
keep your hands on the
keep your
wheel.
hands on the wheel
So you don't
so that
risk
you can
getting
roll the
shot.
window down so that they can't say, "Oh, you were reaching for something in your side of your door or something like that."
You know, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm not rolling the fucking window down. Look,
I know, but that's what I'm saying is that's where automobile makers are starting to go in that direction.
But we're saying
of
it's like sad how
but common
how they're
sense is this,
preparing for
guys.
that.
Look, let's think about this, okay? Let's just go with some common sense.
No.
Okay, the lights fucking go on.
Yeah.
Question here. You know where your license registration is, right? I have that fucker in my hand immediately.
Yeah,
License
absolutely.
registration. I see the fucking lights. He's not on you in 10 seconds.
No,
It's about a 30-second
Yeah,
to
yeah.
45-second deal.
Yeah.
So at that point, I have the license
Everything
and registration in my hand.
yeah, me too.
So that at that point, it's right there, right? And I get fucking shot, like the guy's in his hand.
Yeah.
That's the common sense element. If someone starts, you're not waiting there like, hey, get your light. No, have the fucker ready. They're gonna ask you for license, and if they don't, well, then guess what? You put it away. But you're not reaching. That's the part that's kind of like, again, are we applying the common sense rules of life? And that's what we got. This is what we're talking about today. It's very similar to the speed bump. Fucking go prepared, right? You know, I got to tell you a funny story. This was-
let me show you a clip that's on
Okay,
that.
okay.
Because I always like to do clips, just like my classroom. Because this is from a movie called The Hate You Give, and
Fucking hate.
and the scene is the talk. So this father talking to his African American kids, and he's telling them about what happens when you get pulled over.
Now, one day y'all gonna be with me, and you best bet we gonna get pulled over. I don't mean I did something wrong. Maybe I made a mistake driving, or maybe I ain't do nothing at all. You're gonna see me with my hands like this on the dashboard. Come on. And you keep your hands posted, because moving makes the police get all nervous. If I ain't with you, you ask for me. It can get real dangerous, so don't argue with them. But keep your hands where they can see them.
Yeah. So unfortunately, our society, we have to have talk, particularly minorities have to have talks like that.
The Hate U Give is about a girl named Stark.
All right, sorry for that. Hold on to the next clip. But it's an amazing movie, and that title comes from Machiavelli, Tupac, a song. He talked about that. He talked about that. Hate U Give, Thug Life.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about it, what's sad part about this is a story about, I'll give you an example, right? The chances of you getting pulled over and shot in Laguna Beach are going to be slim. No matter what, even if you're reaching your pocket, it's just not going to happen because those police officers ain't conditioned for that, right? But the chances of you being in Long Beach and going a block over and being in the hood, a very high probability of you being shot if you move your fucking hands. And this is a sad part of our life, but this is why it's so important to work our asses off as young people so that we don't have to be in those environments. I'm never nervous when the cop pulls me over because I'm just not nervous. Number one, I'm like, well, I'm sure I haven't done shit. I got my registration in my hand and I'm not in a beat up car. But it does play, a lot of elements play in life, and this is the whole common sense value, right? But I'm not going to find myself in the hood. That's just a bad juju, right? You're asking for trouble, and this is why it's so important for us to work. We can start off anywhere, but it's better to work ourselves to get out, and that's what I'm talking about. No matter what the circumstances, better your life. Better it, no matter what. And so I think that ultimately, that's a sucky one, but going back to the knife in your hand, okay, getting shot. Running away, hell no. But I didn't finish this, so I was like, this is about, I would say about 6 years ago. And I'm going to the movies, and I'm in my black truck, and a cop pulls me over, and he says, you need to let us know that you have a concealed carry license or a gun in the truck. I'm like, well, the fuck do you know I have a gun in the truck? And so when I was sitting there, there's no way of them for to know, because I asked some people, it's not like it comes up on your license or your license plate and all that. He literally assumed and made that question, but he was waiting for me to say, oh, yeah, I have a gun. Mm-hmm. And I said, officer, well, if I had a gun, I would tell you, but in this circumstance, there's not one with me. And at the time, there wasn't one with me, which is a very rare occasion. Mm-hmm. But you see what I'm trying to tell you? Yeah. I'm just not going to pull my pants down. I'm not going to run away just because, you got to apply the common sense. And this is where I'm like, are you going to be that exact in your life where you're just going to get screwed? Like if someone says, well, you know what? Sorry, no parking here. Well, you're allowing their judgment to say there's no parking. You need to check for yourself. You got to give a little bit of pushback or you're always going to be led.
The sad thing is sometimes if you give pushback, then you're really screwed.
In the police department. Mm-hmm. But I'm saying regular life, you got to give pushback. Yeah,
for sure.
If you don't apply any type of push, you're just going to get rolled over all the time. Mm-hmm. So it's better to stop the truck than have the truck roll over you. Right? Yep. No momentum. And you're getting you're rolled over. Yeah. That's what we're talking about early on, but that's a heavy one. Johnny always hits with the hard stuff, dude. Getting with the hard stuff.
I get a little nervous once John starts pulling stuff up, man.
Like, that's what's crazy. That's how my mind works. Is I get on these little tangents and stuff like that, and I kind of connect. And that's why I used to teach. Remember how I used to teach? Yeah. I'd go on tangents all the time, But what's crazy is that I had all these YouTube videos already on my website, ready to go, boom, and I'm boom. But I get us on those little things. But
it is crazy though.
But those are speed bumps. Those are things that you have to teach, that people have to learn to cope with. Because then there's people out there that don't react that way, and they're the ones that end up tending, to bring it upon themselves.
Oh yeah, so I know when I get pulled over. Yes sir. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Well, it's like this, right? It's like pulling up to a roadblock, and you know what the legal limit of drinking is. And say you've had one drink, and the officer says, well, if you had a drink, why the fuck would you say you had a drink? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Because you know what the legal limit is. So if you're past the legal limit, you're gonna go mum. But it's like too much information is not good information. That's always what I've learned, right? Because you're actually causing yourself an issue at that point.
Yeah.
Right?
You're giving yourself a reason.
I don't know if I came up with that tattoo idea back when you were my student. I just told them I was on my finger.
Oh yeah,
I was going to get a tattoo, and I still want to. I still want to follow through on my convictions. Because the Fifth Amendment prevents us from ratting on ourselves. So I wanted to get a number 5, a 5th right here on my tattooed on my finger, and then right here I wanted to get the 4th, because if they say, hey, can we look in your car, and you'd be like, the 4th Amendment. Because that prevents illegal search and seizure.
Yeah.
They have to get a warrant, or they have to show probable cause. So those, I don't know. I think I remember.
Yeah,
I would tell my government kids, and they'd laugh because I'd flip off the class. But
we're gonna see John on the news too, world news pretty soon. He does that.
John hit him with the 5th and 4th, baby.
4th and 5th Amendments. Baby.
John, high school teacher John Chavez flips off police officer.
Oh yeah.
Ends up arrested,
and he wins, but has a hole. Has a hole in his chest. He followed the Constitution.
Oh, he lost.
No, we'll fight for you big then, John.
Yeah, no.
We'll come in with the big guns.
My kids will get the settlement.
Yeah, it's gonna be a heavy settlement then. dude.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That'd be heavy. No,
It's
that's
a crazy day and age.
it is. It is, right?
What can you do? Keep on trucking.
Just roll over the speed bumps. At the end of the day,
That's all
we can do.
You can do is all you can do. That's what I live by.
Yeah, or we never even talked about this part. The people that just turn around. Like the old joke back in our days. Why don't people leave Espanola? Because the speed bumps are too big and they can't get their lowriders over them. So, and for some people, the speed bumps are too big.
They put hydraulics, man,
and they quit. But that's what I'm saying is that used to be an old joke about it.
Yeah. But what's crazy, John, about that is once they see a little bit of opposition, people just won't do it.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like, well, I couldn't get past the first mortgage, so I give up. Fuck it, I'm just gonna stay where I'm at. I'm gonna stay renting. It's easier, or whatever. Whatever the fact is, a lot of people like just going down the easy route.
Yeah.
Right. And that's just not gonna get you anywhere.
No.
And nothing that's worth a shit is gonna be the easy route.
No way.
And it's gonna be a shitload of speed bumps always. Right? Or you're not gonna get nothing done.
The bigger the success you want, the harder the road is to get there. That's what I've understood.
Definitely.
And going through life. The higher reward I take, or higher reward that I seek, the path is a lot harder than smaller rewards for sure.
Yeah. You know what I mean? That's why it's called the dollar menu, right? Anyone could buy fries for $1, right?
Or
but
the 89-cent nuggets at Burger King.
Or the 89-cent nuggets at Burger King. You know what I mean?
I used to have to buy those when I had no money.
But I'm gonna tell you right now.
Never do that again.
But you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
But you ain't rolling up to Ruth Chris's the dollar menu.
Nope.
So it's anything you want.
You could get the special though, the steak sandwich for like $30.
See that?
And that's cheap.
Hey, and you feel like you're getting a deal there. You see the conditioning?
Oh yeah.
What's crazy? People are like, I'm so conditioned to roll up and pay $2,000 for an oil change, and I walk away and I'm like, that was a good deal. How fucking crazy is that, right?
Yeah, terrible deal.
Different decimal points.
No, it's just a different world, man.
Yeah.
You're talking a Lambo. I'll go get my Toyota Camry service for $80.
Yeah, I know. I know. I went to a Bernalino place and got a $60 synthetic for my truck.
Dang.
A mom and pop place. Yeah.
That's a steal.
That's
a deal.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and they even gave me a ride back to my school. I got a ride back at lunch. Mom and pop
John,
store.
you got the sweet low there, dude.
I'm hitting
Yeah.
Costco for gas now too because it's only $3
Nice.
Not in Cali, man.
for
$4.58.
91.
$4.58 a
I'm
gallon.
surprised it's not more.
It was stupid. I'm like, holy
I
crap.
thought it was like $5.50, peaking $6.
If it does that, it's time to go home.
Even like this Lumberman at 8-foot 2x6 is $20.
Dang.
One of them.
I think that's up like almost like 500%, right?
Oh,
Lumber?
it's stupid. That piece of wood right there back 4 years ago was maybe $5. Now it's almost 20. 17 something for an 8-footer.
That's
Crazy.
bad. That's crazy
If you're
shit.
building a house right now, you got a lot of money. No, I'm just kidding.
Hopefully you did your loan now, and this is
Hopefully-
your budget costs. Are
Hopefully
fucking
your land is
off-center.
worth a ton and you got it
Yeah.
for dirt cheap.
Yeah.
That's the only way. Unless it's a dream home and you killed it and you're retired and you want to spend the money.
Yeah. You don't give a shit, right?
I'll build the house for you. Give me a call.
Yeah, that's it's getting heavy. We're getting deep over here. It's getting past that. We're getting sales going on here. It's getting heavy.
I'm glad I made it today.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I'm glad you tuned in. Good, strong shit. Handling life speed bumps. You got the version of what I would do and apply some to your life. We're out till next Tuesday.
See you guys next week.
Right.
Harmonix Technologies, your New Mexico business IT solution. With incredible products that will fit your needs both big and small, and unmatched service, it's your vision delivered. Learn how we can help your business roar into action today. Harmonix Technologies, your New Mexico business IT solution.